Welcoming you to this practice of Yoga Nidra today. Welcoming you to this moment of rest, this opportunity. Could be a pause in the busyness of the day. It could be the first thing you're doing in your day. It could be something that is just relaxing you into the vibes of the evening. And that's an invitation to just simply be where you are, right? Like it could be technically morning time, but you're in the vibes of evening. it could be the middle of the day, but the sun is rising. So as we enter the time machine and spacecraft that is Yoga Nidra, just know that here in the sacred dreamscape, we're not bound by the rules of the awake time. So what fun could that be to explore? Just how curvy, spirally, flowing like water things can be in the Nidra space. I also want you to know that everything I offer up today is invitational. Take what feels like a delight, that feels nourishing. Feel free to leave the rest. You're the one who is in charge of this experience. It's your experience. I'm just here to offer up some light suggestions and the occasional friendly reminder that you are so incredibly whole and you are complete. We feel these bones of ours resting here upon the earth. Perhaps even tuning into the little points of contact beneath you. Doesn't matter what position you're laying in. And it also doesn't matter if you want to change your position at any time. Even in the middle of the Nidra, you feel like moving, adjusting. You're welcome to. Is there a way that you could still stay fluid and a little dreamy? Might start to take in some of the sounds that are around us. There are certain sounds that are known, that we can identify. There's also sounds that are unknown. Smells work like that too. And sometimes when we call in a larger spectrum of connection, like if we call in the spirits of the land, well, that could sure be a lot of beings, known and unknown. Some things that are legend even. But I like to think that if they're part of our storytelling, they are real. A little invitation to connect to the ancestors of the land in whose footsteps we walk. Those that we can name. In my lands, the Potawatomi peoples, Sauk, the Fox, Kickapoo, Miami peoples, these peoples who moved on waterways, these rich, abundant lands. They moved to the north, south, east, and west. They traveled to the stars above and they traveled to the spaces beneath as well. They were great ancestors of lands whose names we do not know, whose peoples lived in grand abundance. Scarcity was not in the imagination of these peoples. There was always enough for everyone. And that truth holds through today. There is enough for all of us. might even feel called to call in the ancestors of our families, and those are people known and unknown. When we call in the ancestors of family, some curious beings may show up. Animals, stones, clouds, and waterways. Beings that look like they could be of this world, and beings who may be of other worlds. Part animal, part humanoid. It's all on the table if you'd like it to be. It's like the possibilities are limitless in this space. So as we enter the microcosm of this body, let us see where the journey leads to. Just even feeling into the central core of this body. How about the spine itself? So much wisdom housed in the spinal column. It's like a living library. Maybe we just take ourselves to the very base of the spine. And we just start to move upwards. Might be helpful to use the breath to travel up the spinal column. There's bones, there's spaces in between bones, there's muscles, there's little tiny muscles, like little thin pieces of pasta, linking it all together in a very beautiful geometric design. You might feel spaces that need a little bit of breath, a little bit of coaxing. Traveling upwards. And into the neck region, up towards the occiput, and here we are into the head region. This sort of central system, guidance system. We can feel into the right and left sides of the head. Feel the temples right and left. Some of these parts of the face, the eyebrows left and right. The eyes right and left. Nostrils left and right. Lips, top and bottom, the ears left and right. So many of these sense organs. The chin. Maybe we travel down the front side of the body. Neck region, chest region, belly button region. Finding ourselves all the way back to the base of the pelvic bowl. When we consider these footsteps of the ancestors that we walk in, what about the feet, right and left? Just feeling the contours of the right foot, including the tips of the toes. Biggest toe, all the way down to the littlest of toes. And we also have the contours of the left foot. And the toe tips, biggest toe to littlest toe. What about the footsteps of the ancestors as the form of the hands? Trace the contours of the hands left and right. even to the tips of the fingers of the left thumb, index, middle, fourth, fifth finger. Same thing on the right. Tips, contours of fingers, thumb, index, middle ring, pinky finger. These hands, as they are connected to the heart, an extension of the heart center. We could travel from right wrist to left wrist, and right forearm to left forearm, right elbow to left elbow, right upper arm to left upper arm, right shoulder to left shoulder, arriving to the heart center. From the heart center, we could dance a little, right ribs and left, right hip and left hip, right thigh, right knee, right calf, right ankle, left ankle. Now what if we went into the tiniest of the tiny spaces, go all the way into the cells of your body. Into the cellular level of the body, where we find a beautiful geometric structure, an ancestral inheritance in the form of DNA, the knowledge of all the possibilities, all the animals we've ever been, the stones, the plants, the clouds themselves. They're all here in this microcosmic form. And we could be in the innermost space of the body, and we can be at the skin level at the same time. There's a container holding the whole thing together, the skin level, and at the tiniest level, the cellular level. Here in this dreamy space, both are possible. Just like if there was light shining on the body, bright sunlight from all around, we would see that there's light all around the body. There is light. And if we go deep into the innermost, inside the bones, inside the bone marrow, what we would find is it's quite dark. There's this absence of light. And there, in the deepest of the deep places, lives the nourishment of this body in the form of blood. It's produced there. So just see the body for a moment. This light from all around. And in the deepest innermost sphere, the nourishment of darkness. Sometimes we think that it's the opposite, that the light is the nourishment. Light is a catalyst. Light is a force of growth. It's also an incredible tool of decay. But when we go into the dark spaces, when we go into the shadow, what we may find are little gems, storehouses of wisdom, and our deepest nourishment possible. it delights you to hold those opposites at the same time, to feel into what it is to center darkness, to center shadow. It would be like seeing your body as space. How might that feel delightful? Just using your imagination. Using the imaginative quality of your mind. See your body here on the floor as space itself. And that invitation might be space that has stars and planets in it. You may also see this body as absolutely nothing, void. Just reminding you that that void, that blackness is all nourishing. In fact, it's all pure potential. The most powerful of substanceless substances possible is you. See yourself as that. Pure potential. And if this happens to bring about feelings that are uncomfortable, that's totally okay. Here you are held, you are nourished. Sometimes it's a little rocky to see the true form of yourself. And you are part of an interconnected web of being. So just acknowledging the void within and the void without. You are surrounded by infinite potential. And what would it be in this imaginative journey to merge into that? To simply merge into the silence within. as we emerge from that return to source. We return nourished by that communion. Nourished by simply having a moment to take off all the robes and coverings. And as we reconstruct ourselves, as we put some of those robes back on, as here we are in the earthly realm playing the earthly game, we are endowed with many special things. We have superpowers. We have gifts. We have some sleeping superpowers. Things to learn. We have adventures to be had, journeys to go on, lands to traverse, particularly the landscape of this unique being. Sometimes people use a very loud and crass language that, the experience of life is about learning lessons. One must learn their lessons. I don't know about that. That seems like a little co-opted version of things. That life is supposed to be punishing and not enjoyable. That life is for someone else's gain, not your own. Pursuit of learning, of growth and evolution. And so feel free to, just as you were invited in the start of this Nidra, to take what feels good and leave the rest. Do you know that you have permission to do that in all facets of your awake life? There are laws of this existence, but there is no law that says you have to subscribe to any systems that simply aren't true. And so as we emerge from this restfulness, are there certain robes that you took off in order to go into this Nidra that you would like to leave off, even as a temporary experience or experiment? You're welcome to. Are there parts of your being and parts of your identity that bring you so much joy? You're going to put those back on first. It's all your choosing. And so perhaps we could even generate a little sense of gratitude for this body that knows things and also doesn't know things along the way, and the journey that we have to learn, and particularly the journey where we get to learn together. And so maybe just awakening yourself again to sounds that are around you, but maybe they sound even a little different than when we started. And smells and tastes. Touches and feels. As we come towards the conclusion of this experience, knowing these are all spaces and places that you can return to whenever you want, because this is the whole universe that lives within your body. Maybe there are just a couple things that you'd like to capture from your experience of returning to Source today. Feel free to take a moment, capture them in a journal, a sketchbook, a voice recorder, anything of the like. And I will say that this Yoga Nidra it's officially complete. And I thank you for listening.